What's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. I want to start out going over my numbers from the powerlifting meet, and then I'm going to go over my thoughts about bikini versus powerlifting. So let's get into it. So let's quickly go over squats. I was feeling very nervous at first. I find that when I get very nervous, I'm very shaky. So I was most nervous for squats just because I didn't want my legs to shake, because if they did, I probably would have failed my attempts. So I'm really glad that I was able to pull it together. So for my opener, I hit 77.5 kilos, which is 171 pounds. This amount of weight was pretty easy for me, so that's why we kept the opening weight pretty conservative. So I had a good confidence booster going into the rest of the attempts. So I had maybe about a 7 to 8 minute break in between. My next attempt was 82.5 kilos, which was 182 pounds. Again, this moved up pretty quickly, pretty smoothly, so I was feeling a little bit better after my second attempt and not so nervous anymore, and excited to go for the third attempt, which was 85 kilos, which was 187 pounds. So I was able to hit that. I got one red light, which I was a little upset about at first, but I didn't realize that as long as you have 2 white lights, then you actually are successful with the attempt, so it was no big deal. The one guy said that I didn't reach depth, but it's always hard to tell from the angles, because from my Snapchat angle, it doesn't look like I reached depth, but from the side angle, from what Kyle got from right here, it does look like I've reached depth. So whatever, it doesn't matter, I hit the attempt anyways, so all is good. So after squats were done, I was feeling super excited for bench. Bench has been probably my favorite lift throughout the entire prep, so I was feeling a little bit more confident and excited to hit bench. So we quickly warmed up in the back, and my first attempt for bench was 50 kilos, which was 110 pounds. And this moved up fairly quickly. I was a little bit shaky, but I think that this was just due to nerves. For my second attempt was 52 kilos, which was 121 pounds. I failed the attempt, and you can kind of tell that I just kind of gave up, which has kind of been the norm for me when I fail bench. When I know that I'm not able to push it, or I trick my mind that I'm not able to push it, I just kind of like throw my hands up in the air. I'm like, okay, I'm done, get this thing off of me. So I think that's kind of what happened here. Once I was able to go backstage and kind of collect my thoughts on what happened, I had to, because I had to hit this amount for the third attempt. I wasn't able to drop the weight, so I had to figure out what I did wrong. And I honestly think that I wasn't driving enough through my heels. I was just trying to push with my upper body, and the stability for my lower body just wasn't set up properly. So I made a conscious effort when I went back out for my third attempt to make sure that I really drive through my heels, and even this one was really slow. But I know once it was moving up a little bit slower to drive with my heels and make that connection, and I was able to push the weight, which was a really exciting moment. And this was 8 minutes in between each attempt, and so it just goes to show you that your mind is so much powerful than you think it is. So I was really excited that I was able to make a quick recovery like that. So I'm actually pretty happy that that happened. It's a great learning experience to realize that that you can learn from your failures so quickly. So it was pretty cool. So bench was an awesome learning experience, and 121, an all-time PR for me. So that's super exciting. Then we moved on to deadlifts. By deadlifts, man, I was just super pumped. I can't even explain it. I was just dancing in the back, just getting myself pumped up, and I don't know, I just had such a blast. And deadlifts are my jam. They always have been, they always will be. I'm super confident with deadlifts. So we warmed up backstage, and then we went into our first attempt, which was 92.5 kilos, which was 204 pounds.
No.
I've hit this amount many times before, so this just flew off the ground. Moving on to the second attempt of 97.5 kilos, this amounted to 215 pounds. Again, moved super quick off the ground, and I've hit this amount many times before, so that was no issue. And then for my last attempt, 102.5 kilos, which was 227 pounds. Now, I have to admit that I attempted 225 pounds this time last year. Actually, it was on Halloween last year. And I failed it. I've actually saved the clip for this day so I could share it with you guys. So let's quickly overlay that failed attempt. And we're back. So after that failed attempt from last year, I have just psyched myself out of doing 225 pounds just because, like, it was really scary failing that. I don't know why, because out of all the 3 lifts, deadlifts is the most safest lift that you can fail on, because all you do is simply drop the weight, whereas squats can crush you, bench can crush you, but deadlifts you just walk away, so it's not as dangerous. So I don't know why I got so shaken up from it, but this 225 right here, it flew off the ground, or I guess I should say 227. It flew off the ground, and actually I got a text from my coach yesterday after him watching some of the videos, and he believes that we kind of underestimated how much I could really lift for deadlifts. So he wants me to test my max again this weekend, just because he thinks that I could actually pull 240 to 250 pounds. So that's actually pretty cool. So I'm actually gonna do that tomorrow, and that'll just be a good set point to allow me to set my training for the rest of the year, because I train based off of percentages of my 1 rep maxes, so that'll actually increase my overall volume for deadlifts. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But anyway, so deadlifts were a huge success, and I had so much fun. So that was the meet day. I competed in the 52 kilo class, and it turns out that I was the only one in this class. Everybody else was in the higher weight classes, but my overall Wilks score was 307.78, which is pretty damn good. First time of me ever lifting. I thought that was actually really cool. And even though I got first in my class out of 1, your qualification for provincials isn't determined on your placing, it's determined on how much you lifted. So my coach made a point to ensure that I lifted the minimum amount of weight for me to qualify for provincials. So we knew right away that as long as I hit my opening numbers, that I would qualify for provincials. So I think that's actually pretty cool. So based on how much I was lifting, qualifies me for provincials, which I can do next year or the year after. So I now quickly want to kind of do a quick comparison of bikini competitions versus powerlifting competitions. For powerlifting competitions, the thing that I really liked about it is you are really competing with yourself. When you're backstage, you're warming up and you're getting ready to go do your attempts, you have no idea how much everybody else is lifting. You have no idea what weight classes they're in. They may be in yours, they may not be. There's a lot of girls who look like they're the same size as me, but they're in the next weight class. So I had no idea. And I really liked that aspect of it, because after your attempt, all you care about is seeing those 3 lights be white. I wasn't concerned with how much everybody else was lifting. It didn't matter. So I really liked that aspect of it on the day of the meet. The prep itself is strictly based on how strong you are. I think that with bikini that you're really focused and you can start to obsess about how you look. And I get it, that's the sport. But for powerlifting, all you're focusing on is your strength going up. And don't get me wrong, your body responds very well to the increased volume, but at the end of the day, all you're focusing on is getting stronger, which, let's be honest, it's such an amazing feeling to see yourself getting stronger. I was getting a little freaked out at the end when I was able, like my last mock meet, when I was able to push 120 pounds on bench, no problem. It freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? So it's a really cool feeling. So I like the aspect that you're not obsessing about how you were looking the entire time. You're not dieting as insanely. Yeah, the last couple of weeks I had to make sure my macros were 100% on point just because I didn't want to go over my weight class, but I didn't cut for it. I didn't want to do a cut for it. I could have gone to the 110 weight class, but I wanted to stay where my body was naturally at, which was around 115 pounds. So I didn't cut for it. So the dieting's not as intense either. Now let's talk about the cons that I think that come from powerlifting. Not that they're bad, but I definitely felt way more wear and tear. Your body definitely is put through a lot when you're prepping for a meet. My hips, my back, my shoulder, I was definitely experiencing much more wear and tear than I typically would. So that part, it gets a little bit frustrating, but not discouraging, just because that's just the nature of it. And I expected that. I follow a bunch of other powerlifters, and I knew that nobody joins the sport and is injury free. So your increased time for mobility and stretching is significant. So you have to be able to make the time to stretch and mobilize and smash and foam roll everything in order to minimize the amount of injuries that you were gonna experience during the prep. Another thing is the increased time in the gym. I've talked about this to you guys before about how long I would spend in the gym for certain days. Not all the time, but most of the time the gym sessions were never less than 2 hours. So making the time for that as well is very important and can be very time consuming, especially when you have other things going on in your life. But other than that, like if you can just simply make the time to stretch more and to make time for the gym more, it was overall an awesome experience. So having said that, I will be doing it again. I do qualify for provincials. I won't be doing them next year. I think next year I'm going to focus on provincials for bikini, but I will be doing them the year after. I think a lot of people like to rush into doing their competitions. So man, if I could qualify for the next 3 years, I wouldn't do provincials until 2019, just because I see the value in having a long off season for any sport that you're doing. Even this 1 year off for bikini, that's not long enough at all. If I could wait 2 or 3 years to do provincials for bikini, I would. I see the value in that. I'm not that lucky, so I will be doing provincials for powerlifting in 2018. I'm really excited. I will be going back to the same coach that I have. I am going to link his website down below. His name's Eric Olson. He's the owner of Meta Athletics. So make sure you guys check out his website. So I don't want to spend a lot of time right now talking about bikini, but I just want to maybe kind of talk about people who are interested in competing. I think a lot of people see myself and other people in the fitness industry do a competition, and it makes them want to do a competition, which is amazing. I think everybody should compete. I think everybody should be striving to achieve something great and working towards something always. I strongly believe that. If you're not progressing, you're not moving forward. But I think a lot of girls especially jump into doing a bikini show right away. So I had a lot of girls saying, oh, you did a bikini show, I want to do one now, and they haven't even ever been to a competition. Context is key here. I've wanted to do a bikini show for 3 years. I've been to multiple shows before where I've seen what it's like. I've done numerous hours of research to weigh the pros and cons of competing, to see what it has on you, the tolls that it takes on you emotionally and physically, and in your time commitment as well. So I understood the full aspect of competing in bikini and never having competed before. Whereas I think a lot of girls sit in 6 months say, I want to do a show, and don't realize the toll that it really takes on you emotionally. Even as a flexible dieter, the dieting still sucks. Who wants to eat less than they want to? Nobody. You know what I mean? So it really can be draining. I'm not trying to turn people off of competing from bikini, but all I'm saying is don't rush into it. Like, do your research, go to a show, see what it's like, interview other bikini girls, see what their experience is like, and really try to do some research and understand what is going to work well for you. I think a lot of people don't consider powerlifting, and if you're just somebody who's new to the fitness industry and is just wanting to compete because maybe you played in sports your whole life and you're a competitor and you see everybody doing bodybuilding shows and maybe you want to do one, which is great. Like I said, do your research first, but if you're, after doing your research and asking all your questions, maybe it's something that doesn't sound good to you, consider powerlifting. I really like the aspect of your ability to not obsess over how you look so much. And especially for people who are just starting out, maybe their mindset isn't as strong, maybe they don't have as much confidence in how they look, and obsessing over how they look is just gonna wreck their confidence even more. Don't do bikini. Consider doing maybe powerlifting instead. And it's just going to be you versus you. All you're really going to care about is getting strong, which is an amazing feeling, and then maybe do bikini later once you've seen the changes in your body and your capabilities of what your body can do from powerlifting, that it builds that confidence, it builds that empowerment to allow you to be successful in bikini later on. So this isn't a debate about if bikini or bodybuilding is better than powerlifting. I love the ability to do both. I think it's really hot right now, and I see why. I love doing both of them, and I'm not sure how long, but I'm going to continue doing both of them for the time being. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, you guys. I really appreciate you guys following me along for the journey. I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who's come up to me saying that I motivate them. Like, fuck, take away the medal, take away the trophy. I don't need any of that. The best feeling in the world is for me to make a difference in people's lives. And if I would have got last place, or if I would have bombed out on all of my attempts, to have people say that I motivate them to work harder at their goals, priceless. I don't need a trophy at all. So thank you, you guys, for the support. That gives me the drive to keep going, to keep documenting, because in all honesty, sometimes it gets discouraging. It's like, fuck, does anybody even care? But you guys keep me going, so I appreciate all your guys' amazing comments. And let me know if you guys have any questions at all. If you're considering doing a bikini show or a powerlifting show, send me an email. I would love to help you out making that decision, because I think that people take it too lightly, and you should consider all aspects and whether it's going to work for you, so you can make it as enjoyable and a successful competition as possible, no matter which one you decide to choose. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you in the next one.